stay fly.
A good teacher of mine, martial art instructor, good teacher of mine. He used to do this thing where he says, I'm going to show you how you get control without me telling you to go do whatever I want you to do. He said, I got $20 in my pocket right now. Anybody who raised their right hand, the fastest one, I'll give you $20. And everybody raised their hand, right, and tried to get the $20. That's what they do to us. So now they just say, you know what, let me make a...
You're listening to The Fly Guy Show. They do everything on the fly and in such a fly manner. Stay fly, stay fly, stay fly.
After all that party, the views expressed by the guests are only the views of the guests, unless we say we agree, unless explicitly stated.
Hey, this is Ernie Thomas here on the Volt School Podcast. You're listening to Psycho Vonner's Fly Guy Podcast. Support, like, subscribe, and share. He's saying some good things. Share it. Don't keep it to yourself.
All right. Time to get on code, and our code is empowerment. I'm Seiko Vonner. Next to me is the good brother, Minister Zumbi. What's up, brother?
Peace.
Okay. So look, I tell you what, man, you keep your finger on the pulse of everything that's happening. I want to say all over the world, but definitely in our country, man. So it's intriguing that tonight when we're dealing with crypto, you know, colored folks and crypto, black folks and Bitcoin. I know, you know, the melanated and mechanical money. I don't know how we're going to put it, but
right.
You shared with me that the Federal Reserve is looking to create its own digital currency.
Yeah, when I first started seeing this phenomenon of cryptocurrency, I was telling somebody that the established currency or the established powers that control the present economic system are going to do one or two things with this cryptocurrency. They're going to they're going to try to regulate it. If they cannot regulate it, then they will destroy it. Okay. So it seems like, and I came across an article yesterday where, and it's not just the Federal Reserve, now the IRS is trying to figure out a way of making people pay capital gains tax for any cryptocurrency over $10,000.
Wow.
Okay.
Wow.
So I knew the regulation was coming at a certain point. You know, I guess it's one of those, you know, stay tuned and just watch things as they unfold. But now to see the Federal Reserve wanting its own digital currency, I guess it's a matter of how do we still maintain status quo, even with this new technology?
Ashe. Well, we have some good friends who are going to join us today. If you remember last week, I put up this visual. So we have to decide, you know, are you going to take your earned income and, you know, buy a Tesla? Or are you going to take your earned income, invest in PowerCoin, and then buy a Tesla, right?
Yes, sir.
Let your profits buy the car. And, you know, I kind of wondered out loud if that was just marketing or was that a really great strategy? And you brought that back to Robert Kiyosaki. So I'm sure we're going to talk about that again today. Okay. And also the top 7 investments. Of course, Power Corp is listed as number 1. We're going to have to ask about that. Real estate, your health, your career, side hustles, your knowledge, and paying off debt. And like I said last time, I think I may have put number 7 at number 1 first. But we're going to find out because the brother who put up these 2 images is here with us today. I'm so glad that we have the top deal advisor. I think you could do some research on Instagram or Twitter and find at top deal advisor, and you're going to find this guy. Hey, brother Tim Webb, how are you doing, Tim? Unmute yourself, man. Join us. What's good?
Everything's good. I'm here in Las Vegas, so I'm talking to you from Las Vegas, and I'm so excited to be on the show and hope that whatever information I can share will empower some people out there.
Ashe. So let's do this, man. Last time, Brother Minister and I had a chance to kind of talk out loud about our concerns about cryptocurrency. So, but you're a true pioneer and you're a true expert in this field. So What is crypto, and why is it important for us to get involved in crypto?
I'm going to answer that question. I'm going to do it by just a little bit of storytelling, if you don't mind.
Tell your story, bro. Tell your story.
Yeah, the other activity that I'm heavy in, and I encourage more Black folks to get in, and we can do this at another time, is the energy industry and renewable energy. And the current president is putting a lot of money towards that. We'll talk to that on a different level. But a brother who's a MIT grad, Stanford grad, PhD, teaches at FAMU, physicist, introduced us to the blockchain in about 2009 into Bitcoin. And he was saying, you guys are in energy, and if you are going to mine coins, I call it manufacturing coins, with computers, then they need cheap electricity, so you should try to get involved in this. So we did look into it, but the Chinese at that time had bought all of the kind of computer equipment that could do what we call crypto mining. So we just decided to continue to do what we were doing, and we built the first African-American utility-scale solar farm that we still own today, some 6 years later, in North Carolina. That's how I got introduced to it. But because I've been doing business development and I've been doing finance projects that's internationally and domestic, I noticed that we have oftentimes a lot of assets, but no cash. So we're asset rich and cash poor. What do I mean by that? So for example, you inherit 500 acres down in South Carolina from your family, but you don't have the money to turn that into some income producing activity, right? So that, or for example, in South Africa, when I was there for a couple of years, there's a group that's a tribe that has sugarcane everywhere. In the middle of it sits a refinery that's owned by basically a African, and so that money is going out. So they're getting that money, exactly. They're getting that money when they could be getting the added value money. So my thing was, when I really studied this thing, I was like, this is the way. The crypto is like a barter system. The brother minister talked about it, before, is that money as we know it it's more than just the U.S. Federal Reserve. Several central governments, treasuries are working on their own coin. So you will not, just like at one day we didn't have a dollar bill, we will not have, we had metal, and then at some point we had seashells, sometimes salt was the barter. Now we made a system where we actually can electronically barter what we have, and that's the concept that I built mine around. So basically, when you talk about crypto, it's just a digital value, just like, for example, someone gets their paycheck and they get money and it goes into their bank account. People don't give dollars and 100 bills anymore, right? They have a digital number in their account, and that digit is transferred over. So now we're just moving from your debit card and your credit card to just that physical cash. It's just going to be a digital asset called a cryptocurrency. And that's only one application of this bigger thing called the blockchain. And I could talk about that for a while too. So, but we're specifically looking at crypto. Crypto is just a digital asset that at the moment represents, value. And that value is given by the people, the market. It's not given, by, there's a whole bunch of gold backing it, this, that, and the other. It's actually given by the value that the people who hold and invest in it want to have it. Now, I'm not saying it doesn't get manipulated, but that's how it works. Just like the U.S. dollar, we all know, is no longer backed by gold that's supposed to be in Fort Knox. It's backed by the good faith of the company, of the country, because they called it, that we have enough assets and enough people hold our dollars that they believe in the value of our currency. But really, there's nothing backing it but a promise. If America keeps going the way it's going, economically, it might not be worth as much as people think it is. So I'm gonna stop there to answer the question, but that's what it is. It's a cryptocurrency is a digital asset that we put in value on it. And now China's the first one to lead to creating a sovereign, they call them sovereign coins, sovereign tokens or sovereign coins, and the rest of them are gonna follow suit.
Interesting. I think, Brother Minister, you called it a token, and I got a chance to read an article, and they said that a cryptocurrency is kind of like a token when you go to Chuck E. Cheese. You know, that token, you can buy the stuffed animals with it. You can buy pizza. You can buy drinks. You can buy, but it doesn't have value outside of its arena. But in that arena, in that Chuck E. Cheese, you got drinks, you have food, you have candy, you have toys, you have shirts, you know, so there's a whole lot of different areas where you can spend. So if you look at crypto as a token, and the value of that changes. You know, if you go into Chuck E. Cheese on a Monday, you'll get a lot more for your tokens than you will on a Friday night or a Saturday night. So I thought that was intriguing. Man, what are you thinking, Brother Zumbi, about what Tim is saying so far?
You know, I think he answered, because I know that the last show we were throwing around a lot of questions, and so far he's answered at least the first third of the questions that we had put on. But something else had come up, you know, during the initial dialogue. And I wanted to ask Tim this question. From your research and your experience, do you see crypto being immune to inflation?
So, from architectural, I don't know if that's a word, point of view, from a technical point of view, it is designed to be immune from inflation.
Okay.
That's the way that I would say that. It's designed to be immune because it's fixed. It's only a certain amount. So, example, if I spend a Bitcoin, okay, well, brother, I'm trying to answer this without going into some other details, but I might have to just set it up. And the reason why I have to do that is because, you know, I've always wondered when I did Business International, why did a brother or sister that had the same degree as me, that did the same work for me, I get paid $100 US an hour. They get paid, you know, their $100 in their currency doing the same exact work, but they don't get the same value, right? And so I always thought that system to me was unfair when it came to labor because, you know, I take a hammer and a nail and I put it in. It's the same action as the person over there, but because they live there, all of a sudden their currency should be less. And so when you think about the digital currency, when you accept the Bitcoin is a Bitcoin. Its value is its value. Now, unfortunately, the original architects of this cryptocurrency, which we don't know all of them, but what I can say, at least the first couple of waves, the idea was to keep it decentralized so it wouldn't have a central player in the middle of it. But what is happening is being co-opted by the very, very wealthy now. And so, you know, Bitcoin's going to prices. You know, they're really influencing the markets. You know, people are trading based off what the big accounts are doing. So, yes, it is at the moment immune from inflation. However, I'm not going to say that inflation doesn't have an impact because when people see, here's the issue: when people move out of whatever token or cryptocurrency they're in, whatever it is, they then still got to transfer that into the local currency that they're dealing in, or whatever currency they want to deal in, and that currency is impacted by inflation. So directly, no. Indirectly, yeah. As a matter of fact, one of the projects that I'm going to be working on, if someone doesn't get it before me, is having an exchange that only has stable coins in it. Stable coins are supposed to be backed by assets. And there's some things around that, and I can talk about stable coins some more, but that's the latest crave is stable coins, because there are these coins that don't fluctuate as much in value because they're supposed to have, like say, if I have dollar stable coin, then it's supposed to be dollars 1-for-1 backing it, right? If I have stable coin that's backed by, you know, the U.S. Treasuries, then I'm supposed to have in custodian or escrow that amount of treasuries there. There's still some funny accounting going on, but that's what the craze in stable coins. And our actual coin, the one that you put up, is actually designed to be a stable coin backed by more than one asset, like cash, but cash, real estate, intellectual property, and to keep that at a 2-to-1 basis. So that means for every dollar that's out there, there's $2 of assets backing it. That way, if there is some fluctuation, you still have a basket of assets backing the coin. So I went a little bit more into it though, but yes, technically it's designed that way, but I still feel in the real world, when you come out of it, as long as you're going back into the regular fiat currency, you're going to have that same problem of inflation.
Okay. All right, hey, we do have a viewer question. Thank you, Wild Williams 454. But wouldn't that make it to where everyone has to go through the same portals? Now, I'm not sure when he dropped that question in there, so.
Right.
but he has a follow-up. Deleting all currencies from all over the world too, put everyone in one system, i.e. electronic. Interesting. I'm not going to read his question because he's writing in text format. Hey, thank you, Wild.
Yeah, I'm gonna let the brother minister go. I'll follow it. I totally get his question.
Okay, all right. Well, then answer the question then.
Okay, all right. I was just respecting my brother.
Okay. I'm sorry.
Oh no. Go right ahead.
No, but what he's saying there is that basically, he's basically saying that if we do this, all these countries going on their own digital currency, we'll all be in one global system, right? And I haven't talked about that part of this, but that is a big thing. Yes, we are all your worst nightmares of the Skynet or what's the other one? Matrix, all that type of stuff. This is the stuff that gets us to those places because literally, as you know, once you open up a wallet on the Bitcoin network, think of it as a giant highway, right? And your car is on it. Your car is that wallet. Once you get your wallet, everyone knows that you have a wallet. Now, they may not be able to attach it to you, but they know you can see. That's what the blockchain is about. It's a big ledger, like on an accounting ledger. It's a big ledger, and every transaction that's happened, even when people have accidentally sent something to somebody else, that transaction is recorded and is duplicated on every computer or hardware that's connected to the blockchain running the software. So that's what they mean by making it immutable. And you can't double accounting because everyone knows. Like if you have my wallet addresses, you can look at right now and see all the transactions I've done, how many are there. So if I misrepresent and told you, oh no, I don't have 100,000 coins, I only have 20,000 coins, you could actually do the research if you have it. The problem with it is, it's like bearer shares, if you guys ever heard of that. They're like you have shares in your corporation, like a share certificate. And what a bearer share means, brother, if I hand my shares over to you, it's yours. You own it. I no longer own it, right? So it's the same thing with the wallet. If you give me your wallet address and code to it, I own it now. You don't have access to it, especially if I change the password. So my point is that's kind of how the system works. So what he's saying is that, yes, we are being pushed as we're all being pushed into these different behavior places that, certain folks want us into. The question is, how are we going to use it to empower ourselves? That's really what the question is for us, because there's enough forces pushing us towards this thing. So when they take away $1 and you got $100,000 under your mattress, you can't spend it. So they don't have to tell you not to do it. You have no option, right? It's just like states that wanted to make sure that people didn't have to wear masks. And the federal government, especially this government, would say, okay, you want your people not to wear masks? Then when the highway funds come up for your state, you're going to be short. So they don't have to tell you to wear the mask. They just incentivize you. Or on the other one, they just decide to make sure that, you will comply with what it is that they want. So he is right that we are going into that route where we'll all be connected through this thing called the blockchain.
And he's also saying that means you have no privacy in commerce.
That is the big issue with the privacy issue, is the part that we have to really, really work on.
That's intriguing. We're going to, Tim is going to come back. I guess he had to think about that. But in the meantime, I want to show this because this is Tim's commercial on YouTube. Hey Tim, man, I saw you dropped off for a second and you're back. I want to play this very quickly, and then let's talk about what we just watched.
Yes, sir.
Want access to cash without having to sell your crypto? The cryptocurrency market just reached $1 trillion value. Banks and financial houses are like dinosaurs and slow to adopt digital currency. At PowerCore, it's simple. We tokenize your assets, which allows you to borrow against them. Our safe liquidating finance program makes access to cash fast and easy. PowerCore and its PowerCoin are all you need to tap into your crypto value without having to sell.
That's intriguing. Are you saying that
Yes, sir.
you're going to take hard assets like a property, a house, a vehicle, okay, and you're going to attach it to crypto, like you said, 2 to 1. So for every, like if I have $100,000 house, I'll have 50,000 in P-coin.
So let me explain it to you. So you got two different things that we're doing. So they're not meshed together in that way, but I'll explain what I'm talking about. So there's this thing called tokenizing assets. That's going to be the next big wave. We haven't gotten it yet, but we're starting to do that. This idea of NFTs that you guys heard about, non-fundable tokens that just take in memorabilia or digital art, things like that. Most of the kids growing up now, I know, but their whole, you got to think about the kids' whole lives are digital. So they're not going to a museum to go look at fine art or to look at things. They're going online. Now we've been at home for almost a year. Everybody's been watching streaming video as opposed to going to the movies, right? So all these things, there was a drive-in at one day, right? So all these cultural things are changing. And so to them and to that generation, they're going to probably access some of these things, non-fungible, these tokens, these content. They're going to access that through a digital platform. And so that's why it's supposedly making sense. But it's no different than, let's just say Nas comes through and he signs something for me in a concert, and then I put it online to get it sold, right? It's just that this time it's all digitized. But again, that's another show. I could go all the way into that. Going back to my background, when I said I saw a lot of asset-rich, cash-poor, I saw a lot of people with good projects that look like us and communities like us, but the bankers wouldn't, based on their underwriting standards, many times, would not allow them to get the financing that they needed to get their projects done. So what I did is I basically brought the concept together where I took crypto mining, stable coins, right, and tokenization all together to develop an integrated system that would allow people, basically, like you said, to take a house, to take land, to take intellectual property. We have to agree on the valuation. And basically, they would deposit that with our system, and then we would make cash available to them, or P-coin if they wanted to, and they could use our P-coin also to mine on our network. So they could actually use it to invest in their own money. So instead of you having to take a line of credit, take the money, invest in the market, you actually could leverage it through our system and put it in there and get the kind of liquidity that you want. I know that's a lot of concepts coming together at once, but that's what we're talking about. So if you have the simple house, I got a house, I owe $20,000 on it, it's worth $100,000. I need additional $50,000 or $70,000. You would then end up placing that home with us, and from that value, we'd be able to then exchange value to you through our coin and our crypto mining. So liquidity comes from our crypto mining. That's where liquidity comes from in that example, and that's what makes us available to make cash available to you, if that's what you desire. Or you can just start mining and building up Bitcoin to Bitcoin over the years to then cash those out when you're ready to do that. So we give you two options. But we're trying to lead with the most simple thing, which is people who currently have cryptocurrency now, Bitcoin or Ethereum, instead of them selling it like they're doing right now in a panic, all what they ought to be doing is just leveraging it and let it go back up. Because these folks are going to take it to 75. There's no doubt about that, if not 100. Because they're so vested in it now. They know what's going on with inflation. They know that there's no other asset right now that they're backing that is going to appreciate like this. I was watching, another video where the brother said that, like, assets now, if you're not making 15% on your assets, you're not breaking even. Yeah. You don't feel this, but this is exactly what's happening. Mm-hmm. And it's not necessarily inflation. It's actually the value of assets is just dropping because there's a whole lot of debt out there that, countries, including ours, have put out there. And so the value of assets are just dwindling and dwindling. And it's like a silent killer. So cryptocurrency is about the only current asset that they're promoting that's reaching higher than a 15% return. Consistently, if you know how to actively trade in it. And I'm going to stop there. Sorry.
Okay, this is some high level stuff. Zombie.
You can pull it back. I'm sorry. I just, rolled off my tongue.
No, but it's right on time because when you were talking about, I just lost my train of thought. Oh, when you were talking about, inflation and hard assets, things of that nature, it's interesting you mentioned 15%. I just got through reading a book by Josh Tolley called Evangelpreneur. Okay. And in the book, he said he's done research and he says that inflation, the real inflation, has been running at 10% since 1871. Because I guess there's a different way for you to calculate what the real inflation is. So if it's running at 10, and I've always said this, and I even say this in my book, that whatever is in your portfolio, your assets, it should be outperforming inflation. Because, and I'll give you another example. There was a former consultant to the IMF and the World Bank, and he said that since 1914, which is ironically the same year the birth of the Federal Reserve Bank, since 1914, the U.S. dollar has lost 97% of its purchasing power. Okay. And so what you're saying about, being at 15% ROI or even 20% ROI, it makes sense to me. And I've been screaming that for like 20 years.
Yeah. Interesting.
I got that from a macroeconomist that basically large hedge funds follow his. And he just became a total Bitcoin convert because he says he searched all the assets that he could find. He couldn't find anything that could beat that schedule.
Interesting. All right. So while William says, what coin would you buy now?
So as you said, this is not investment advice. I'm not asking you to run out there, and all those disclaimers. Some outlook. So Bitcoin is definitely on sale right now in the 40s and 30s. So I don't think a person would be of remorse if they're alone. Now, if you're just an in and out investor, then that means you got to be a trader. That's a whole nother thing. But if you're looking at long-term value, Bitcoin would be an interesting choice. I think Ethereum is a great choice because it's the second largest coin, and many of the altcoins are based on its platform and its system. So once they run Bitcoin up to such a price that people can't even really get into it, Ethereum is the next choice. Other than that, I believe my token has a future, but it's a longer term one. So I can't promote my own token, so I would do that. But I would say if you're being steady, I would stick with those two giants and take whatever position you can in it and watch it grow. I mean, in one day, the thing went down to 30 and back up to 40,000. I mean, had you been active, had alerts on your trading and so on, you'd have picked up, a $10,000 gain just that quick. So you guys know in the stock market, without volatility, there's no money being made. So there has to be volatility. So that's why these money people are starting to move it. The old guys, they're like, no, I'm not doing it. But these other money managers, they know that this is where the world is going. And that's why they're bringing their clients to it.
Good stuff. He also asked about what platform And it looks like while Williams is going in, he also said that he's down to support your token. Smart Phillips said he's been buying Ethereum, VeChain, and ADA. Yeah. What's ADA?
I don't know that coin by heart, ADA, but it's representing some coin. I don't know. You might be able to Google it and bring it up. A lot of people like to buy. What's that one called? It's the one that does payments for banks. A lot of people want to buy that one. I've never been a big fan of it. It's supposed to get to $1, and it hasn't. One of these guys will mention it, I'm sure. But a lot of people like to always talk about that coin. I'm like, I'm not buying it because of the way it was set up. They basically put out billions of coins and gave it to the little people, and then after they raised 100 million, they created another company and another token, and that's the one that they protect and then leave the little people out there. That's why they're XRP. That's why they're being sued by the SEC.
Interesting.
So they basically, just like any industry, y'all remember the .com? It's the same thing in America with capitalism and free markets. It's the way it works, right? So first, I'm going to say it, the crooks, the smart guys that have the advantage, or women, all the people who know unregulated, they get in it and they exploit it. Once they've exploited it enough, right, then regulation comes in and, basically puts it in a place where hopefully people can feel safe putting their money in it. We're going through the same thing with cryptocurrency. And brother, you had mentioned that about the regulating. They either can regulate it or they'll destroy it. And right now, what they're doing is they're just going to regulate it. So Bitcoin is not going anywhere. Even when these other coins come out from these governments, it's just going to be integrated. They'll make it interoperable across the platform. It's not this idea that it's going to die. It's not. It's not dying.
All right. Hey, Phillips also asked about how much do you evaluate use cases for viability? All right, so first of all, you got to explain that question for me.
So what he's saying is that when you're buying into these tokens, right, they're backed by some project that someone has a vision for, right? So I have a vision of bringing in billions in assets and making that available to folks that normally can't. They end up in something called shadow banking. That's your high interest loans. That's your loan sharks. That's your pawn shops. That's your uncle down the, or cousin or friend or whatever. They charge you a high interest rate in order for you, to get money. So that's a real problem in society. It's 32 trillion. And, I think there's a market for me there. So if you give an example, I'm building something for a real problem that exists in the world that's big enough that if we're successful, this thing has longevity. When you look at these different tokens, you got to look at the project behind it and what is the probability of it being successful because of the team it have and the structure that and strategy that it.
I think we just lost you, Tim.
You got to also look into who the teammates are, what the business model is, and what is the probability of success. Most people are just gambling. I'm just being honest with you. Most people are just gambling. Someone tell them, hey, Dogecoin, it don't mean anything, but shoot, I just made $1,000 on it. Jump in. That's how people are making decisions. The same thing with .com. Hey, man, I got this idea. I'm going to put it on the internet. Everyone's going to come to it. Invest in my company, right? And you see there's only 3 or 4 giants left. And if you look at cryptocurrency, you see the same thing happening, right? The Walensky's brothers are out there strong with theirs. You've got, what's the other one? Coinbase is another giant. They were just, went public as well. And so what's happening is the same thing. You never knew of a Google, Amazon. If someone talked to you years before they would develop about a Google and Amazon, you said they were crazy. The bookstore and something that does a search engine, I don't understand, right? So the same things happen with the market today. So the principles of economics do not leave just because it's crypto. You still got to use that, like when you buy stocks, they say, buy stocks and products that you're used to. Procter & Gamble, things that you know about, or maybe you saw someone come up with something new and you see it explode in your neighborhood, and then they went public, and you know that this is just going to hit the market, then you take the risk. So the analysis doesn't change, but at the end of the day, it's still gambling because you don't know. There's no way to know for 100%, I mean, I had one of my tokens start at 50 cents and it went all the way up to $20. I had no clue it was going to do that. Yes, because it followed the market. Yeah, that's another story, but I'm just saying, like, all kinds of things are happening in this industry, and there is no set pat answer, but what I can tell you is that do your homework and your background on the people who own the company or promoting the company, and see if you really think the business model has some use. If it's not, if it's only for a few people or a niche thing, I'm not sure I'm not going to do it, unless you're getting insider information, which right now it's not regulated. So that's what a lot of people are operating off of, is inside information, right? You know me, you call me, and we're talking in the green room, and you overhear me tell you that, I think this one's going there because I just bumped into the CEO at the last conference, and he told me confidentially that, they got this big partner that's going to sign on. When that partner signs on, this thing's going to go, right? So you have a lot of that going on too, because it's unregulated. But while it's unregulated, it's actually the time that our community can get in it, because we now can create our own currency. Imagine every time you want to go cut your hair, something simple, that we utilize our own token to do that. And then that same token is used to offer mortgage loans to the community. We have an opportunity to create a barter system within our community if we so desire, and then it interact with the bigger community as well. That's what I see as the impact of what this is. Why am I doing this and been on this for the last 2 years? Because I finally got a vehicle. People thought, you heard the churches, own a credit union, own a black bank. What you don't understand is banks are so regulated. If you don't know how banks really work in the global system of things, there's no need to have a bank, because you're not going to do anything more than any other bank can do because of the regulation. This instrument allows you almost to be allows you to be a bank for the most part. You're not taking in deposits, but basically people are buying your tokens, and you're able to aggregate that wealth in order to do different types of businesses, right? So similar to a shares, but it's actually currency. I don't know if you know this, Segu, but cryptocurrency is actually an intangible asset. That's how it goes on the books of your company. It's an intangible asset. It's regulated by two. Yeah, go ahead.
That's deep. I just realized I had my mic all the way up.
Okay.
Hopefully I can be heard a little better now, man. That's crazy. Hey, what's the difference between cryptocurrency and blockchain technology?
Cryptocurrency is an application on the blockchain. The blockchain is that immutable ledger, right? That takes transactions and that allows you to program what they call smart contracts as well onto this big, huge network. So it cuts out middlemen. You don't need them really anymore, because as long as people are entering data, real live, real data, honest data into it, they can do it. Cryptocurrency is just one application of blockchain technology. So other people are using it in logistics. So now they can track a salmon from the sea or farm all the way to your table if everybody in the system is entering the data. And they give it a token, a unique token. And so all the data can be on there.
Now you use the word if. That word always scares.
So that's what blockchain is. That's different. So you see a lot of companies moving to these to using the blockchain as their backbone. It allows you to give permissions. It allows you to lock other people out. It allows you to track things. So if I put in that I sent you a ton of fish and it's in that system and it has that one ID, I can't then turn around and tell somebody I only sent you, 100 units of fish, because it's already recorded and anyone can find out. So that's why they say it's a distrust system. It was a system built so that you didn't have to trust anybody, because the facts that are being entered into it are what being checked against each other. Now, I'm not going to say that people can't manipulate. It can, but it takes a lot of resources to manipulate the blockchain. I don't know if you've seen it. We're always trying to be very careful about China because China has a lot of crypto miners, and we can't let them own more than 51% of all the machines that are on the blockchain network, because if they do, then they can start to tell lies on the system.
Okay. You know, it also brings up a question.
Yes, sir.
Like, I notice now that in crowdfunding, where people are switching to cryptocurrency to use for crowdfunding projects. Now, how would particularly your cryptocurrency could be used if someone is looking to crowdfund, say, for a movie project or some other type of project? To me, it seems like it almost streamlines the process.
That's and it lets more, as they call it, little people into the deals. Whereas before with movies, you needed a whole bunch of big investors and finance folks involved in your transaction. So I mean, at the end of the day, even in launching a coin is not an easy thing. People think it is. I mean, yes, you can make a coin and put it on the the blockchain and have it available, but you still have to market it. Right? So marketing is still a big piece, even with crowdfunding. That's what I learned about crowdfunding. It's actually harder than you think. If you don't have a network, you don't have a community, you may raise $300 on a $30,000 or $100,000 raise you're trying to get. So you've got to have marketing. You got to have a community if you're going to do any type of crowdfunding. Even if you're going to do your own token, you got to build a community of supporters around it. So like me doing these types of interviews, things like that, building out a community is something that you have to do to be successful with this. But yeah, you could use a token for crowdfunding. You absolutely could. Now, the problem you got is that you got to be careful because the SEC is saying that, if you market it like an investment, then, they're going to want you to follow all the rules and regulations related to that. So that's the thing you got to be careful. I'm funding my company through debt instruments backed by my token. So that's one of the ways that I'm moving around it. It's not to say that the SEC or whatever can pierce through it, but that's just the way that I decide to do it, with short-term notes backed by my currency. So that it's a loan product. It's not an investment, an investment like me offering you a security. If you want to go on either Stex.com or you want to go on where we're at on a Korean exchange, which is chainx.kr, you can just buy it directly. But if you were trying to get something directly, if you're trying to get something from me directly, the company, then it would be we would transact that instrument between each other.
Okay. All right. So when I clicked on buy P-Coin, I'm sorry. When I clicked on buy P-Coin, I did get this Chinese Chainx, and I thought maybe I clicked the wrong thing.
No, it's actually for me. So my interest, I've always had an idea that, and Brother Minister, you could probably, I don't know what your thoughts on it is, but I've always had this thing that there is a power between the African and the Asian that if they work together for both of their strengths, we could we can take culture back. They've got a certain history. They save a lot of money. You know what I mean? They've got a tough family structure. So on and so forth. And I just felt that with our creativity and what we do is that if we could merge our cultures in a way that we actually could be more and more successful. So I didn't really want to get my money really from the U.S. Because there's just too many. I'm trying to pick the right words.
Don't, man.
If it was, there's too many hidden people out there that you don't see, right? I had a former uncle. It was my former wife's uncle, and he had a friend that came up with this incredible medical device. And a group of people who I'm not going to mention, but they bombing people at the moment, saw it as a threat. So what they did is they did a whole bunch of orders. And so he went out and got a whole bunch of credit lines to meet all these orders. And once they knew he was good and fat, they canceled all their orders. Do you understand what I'm saying? So,
Yeah.
market. So we're doing a little bit. I got a sister who's an economist. She works for not works, but has been a consultant to the World Bank, IMF, governors in Nigeria, and so on. And so she goes to the Bretton Woods conferences. She goes to the World Bank conferences. So she's on my site as one of my advisors, Miss Courtney Vaughn. But she feeds me a lot of this information, brother, that you've been talking about in terms of what these countries are doing. And I keep saying, oh, well, we're at least 2 to 5 years away from these coins. And she says, you're not in the meetings, right? You're not in the meetings where they're literally talking about how each one of them are going to do their own sovereign coin. It's coming, and it's going to be less than 2 years.
Right.
But we're not in the meetings to know that that's the pace that they're running at. I would go back on another thing. I was saying, oh, well, I don't, like these banks keep saying they don't want nothing to do with cryptocurrency. She says, no, the latest conversations that's been going around banks is how do we move from just custodian, where we just hold them, to actually we can take them on to deposit. See, y'all know that in many countries, their pension funds are broke.
Oh, yeah.
The outstanding debts that countries have, they're just fluffing up their books. But at some point, rent is due, right? At some point, somebody coming for their money. The only way that they can create some value out of nowhere than printing actual money is cryptocurrency.
Yep.
Think about it. The Treasury right now can can issue 10 trillion, 100 trillion, and disperse it to everybody.
Yep.
What dynamic does that do? Now all that other thing that they lost, once we all accept it, they can clean up all this stuff they've been doing to make the select groups wealthy. I mean, it's literally right there in front of our face. They're doing it. So the question is, how are we going to take these tools and utilize them for our own empowerment? Right. And so that's why, brothers and sisters that are really getting into this, they've got to be a vehicle for the others, that are coming through. So that's what my interest is. I mean, you're doing finance. I'm going to be happy to link with you. As soon as we get our miners up, that's our biggest thing right now is we're going to raise $2 million to put up a 10 megawatt mining facility, like a big data center in Wyoming. Why Wyoming? Because Wyoming has low electricity from hydro. So that, we want to do our part to be using green energy as well. But once that's up, that's my machine that creates liquidity to make this whole thing go. So now we can create specific products that meet our community needs and others. It doesn't have to be our community, but our community needs. And, they can find a friendly place to do the same business. I mean, my cousin is an appraiser, and I can't tell you how many times we've heard of people's houses not even being appraised properly because of racist appraisers.
Right.
Yeah. And that kind of gets me to the direction that I want our conversation to really cement itself in.
Yes, sir.
How can blockchain technology improve our situation, specifically in our beloved country, the U.S., and abroad?
So I think one thing is that you want to own some cryptocurrency because it is a good thing for wealth. Even if you want to own it for your next generations, I would suggest that you buy some. Second of all, there was a question of the difference between blockchain technology and cryptocurrency is that you want to educate yourself about the blockchain technology and how you can implement it in your business in order to be more efficient. I think he said in there, which is right, supply chain management. Blockchain is going to be a lot used in supply chain. So like all your vendors will be connected through the blockchain and be able to do different autonomous transactions without having to use so many people hours. So the technology in itself is worth a lot. I think cryptocurrency as well with algorithms, machine learning, and artificial intelligence, which is another thing that we're doing. If you look on my site about the FX trading that's going to be powered by a tool that has 90% accuracy for FX trading. So they'll be able to have that access. So the first part is educate yourself. That's one. And then the second part is to own some, even if it's $100 worth. Go ahead and buy some of the well-known tokens. They're not done. We're still at the early part of this. And then the third thing is to, seek out brothers like myself and another who can help you understand how you implement this technology in your business so that you can be successful. But if there's communities in solidarity, they really should be looking at putting out their own token and utilizing that to build little micro economies. I really am a proponent, of that.
I'm blown away.
Okay. Yeah, and that also ties into what you were talking about earlier about innovation and creativity.
Sure.
Now, all of us here are familiar with what a susu is, right?
Define it more for me. I want to make sure I recall. It's okay.
Oh, okay. Susus originally came out of West Africa, particularly Nigeria. It's kind of like a savings group.
Yeah.
In the Caribbean, particularly Jamaica, is called the Partners.
Okay. Yeah.
It's kind of like a rotating credit system.
Yes, sir. I know exactly what you're talking about now. Yes.
Okay. So could you see or envision us forming crypto susus? Taking culture and mixing it with technology is what I'm thinking.
Brother, we absolutely have to do that. Just before in the green room or the backstage, whatever you call it, we were just talking about the investment clubs that we've been starting. I'm seeing more groups start investment clubs. Mm-hmm. And that's a good example. Like with our investment club, our idea was let's train everybody and get them information. Let's go after deals, but let's make sure that we do a deal and then we do a deal for the next person. We teach them, right? And so now you got 10 of us that all own, let's say, four unit properties, right? So now you got 4 of us, maybe with $1 million, in net wealth or 600,000 net wealth. Now all of us can come together. So you do one, and then it's the next person's turn. The next person's turn. Then you do things like I know I'm saying this out here, and I know it's in the public domain, but people do things. You've probably heard this before, but certain communities have I take $25,000, and you provide me a service, and I move it into your company this month. Mm-hmm. You turn around in the next month and you move $25,000 to your other partner's company for services. Right. So there's all these different things, but yes, at the heart of it, what you just mentioned, brother, we've got to be on. That's got to be the most popular thing because we need the collective wealth. Mm-hmm. It's just not the one guy. And if I can just tell one little other story, I'm not going to mention, but there was a guy that people know with. He's got a common last name. I think the quote-unquote their father of economics is Adam and his last name is something else. So there's a brother that's very wealthy that the IRS is now going after. They knew his wealth. They knew he was hiding wealth overseas. That brother, like some other brothers I know that are really wealthy or know of, are only doing anything in the community because they have to, not because that's where their heart is. So if we keep thinking that certain people look like us that have wealth and all that are going to be the saviors to a problem, you're far, far mistaken. Many of them are doing things in the community because they have to, because they're trying to avoid paying taxes. It has nothing to do with it. They have a heart for the people. And so that's another thing that we got to find a way. How do we continue to connect people who have that are consistent in their behavior to do that and not start looking at all these other folks? And you'll find it's the local people around you. I was surprised how many brothers that have their own, I'm saying brothers now, they have their own businesses that risking $2,500 is nothing to them. What's 10 people at $2,500? What's 100 people at $2,500? I was blown away. They were like, you know what? Dude introduced me to Bitcoin. I missed that whole wave when it was like $300 or $3,000, and now it's up to whatever. Now here's a brother targeted for our community. Why am I not helping him or backing them? So those vehicles that you mentioned, I call them financial vehicles. Those vehicles that you just mentioned, we got to get a lot of those going. And then the aggregation of all that makes us even stronger, right? There's nothing like when they tell you no and you have a good project and you can go make a phone call, and those folks say yes, right? So, you know, that's what we need. We've never had an outlet. We don't have it, you name it, right? I used to tease, I hate to say this, but, you know, Industrial Bank of Washington, IBW, the Black Bank, we know the owner of it. But I used to get mad. We used to put our stuff there, and they wouldn't approve anything. So I started calling them, I'd be wishing I was a bank, because they're not doing anything to help. You know what I mean? I know they're aggregating deposits. I know they do the simple houses. They do that. But when I brought solar, y'all listen to this. When I brought solar to black banks, they told me, we know how to do car loans. We know how to do house loans. And anything that we don't know is a bigger risk than us, than even if you brought us something that was secured with everything. Black Bank, sat down with them, higher ups. Now, how do we get our first solar farm funded? Because it was not easy. It took us twice as long as everybody else.
Wow.
But I had a relationship. And through that relationship, we taught banks, big credit unions, in that side, I'm talking about military ones. We taught them how to underwrite solar. They did our deal, and now they've done millions and millions of deals before. I ain't tell them nothing different than I told our own banks. You understand where I'm coming from? But that fear of innovation and knowledge, we got to get rid of that. We got to take risks. We got to innovate. We got to be out there. I've experienced it. Things I talk to y'all about is the hard knocks my elbows, my knees have been through. It's not theoretical. It's not theoretical. This is real life, what's going on when you're trying to get your stuff done, right? And so that's why I feel confident and call myself a top dealer advisor, because I've had so many experiences I can bring from different industries, different aspects to, you know, to the community. But yes, brother, we need to do those. And crypto is a great way to get that done. Great way to get it done.
Wow. So we can build together, finance together, and the blockchain technology allows us to do it in a way that has not been available before.
Correct.
Is that the takeaway?
That is correct.
Okay. Wow.
And we're keeping up with the digital age. I don't know if you got the email from me, but you see my quote, that you can create yourself into or out of anything. When you get what I'm saying, you'll understand what that means. You can create. You have the power, the divine power, to create yourself into or out of anything. Where's your creativity level? Do you door shut and you shut down? I've always had this vision, this idea for our community, and I just stuck with it. And then blockchain came up. There's the vehicle at my door. Now I have to be the pioneer that sticks with it until the vision goes and passes it on to the next generation, right? Creativity did it, nothing else. I had a creative idea and I had discipline, and that's where I am now. Now I'm speaking to you, good brothers. I'm so happy to be connected to you because this is the thought leadership that we need. It's very important, very important, very, very important. I saw a brother have some other questions. I'm sorry.
Who's
Wow, man. Yeah, I just need to let that marinate for a second. We have about 2 more minutes, so I like to try to keep these around, at a digestible hour.
Yes, sir.
You can create yourself into or out of anything.
That's what black folks been doing all along, ain't we?
Absolutely.
Right? We needed to live and eat. They threw us the scraps of the pig and all that. We made a gourmet meal out of it. How do we do that? Where did that come from? Just think, you just go on and on and on. Have you noticed? I don't know if y'all noticed this. I'm going to let you go. Have you noticed that anytime there's been a black CEO, like of American Express or any other big company, they always turn it over when the company is in the hole? I would say another word. And then the brother is the one, or the sister is the one that brings it out of the hole. The reason why they promoted him, because he took one of their lousy divisions and turned it around. Why, right?
Yeah.
We do it all day long. Our level of creativity is, come on, man. We fuel a whole multi-trillion dollar entertainment industry off of us.
Right.
Now we just got to direct it to other places, which is what we're doing. I'm not down on us. It's just where we are in the cycle. We coming out of it real strong. I mean, the brothers that I sit with from MIT, teaching me about carbon nanotubes, teaching me about melanin skin and what melanin, when you extract it, what other things it can do electronically and so on. These brothers at MIT, it's like blowing my mind that I have access to them. You know what I mean? It's incredible. Sorry, brother. Let me stop. The clock.
No, that's good. I love it.
We great people. I'm telling you, we great people. Don't believe the hype. We great people. The greatest.
Right.
You know, I'm so glad you brought that up to show that people are really studying melanin. Because when I said this 15, 20 years ago, they're like, fool, you on that black stuff. You know?
Melanin has properties that people don't understand.
Right.
Melanin is a really serious thing that they don't realize has a lot of properties to it. And those properties are also inside of us as well. So anyway, I'm gonna leave it at that. That's a whole nother thing, and I can bring
that's another conversation. I can
bring my partner, Dr. Reginald Parker, online with us if y'all want to 1 month, and we can just talk about melanin and things like that, and he'll give you the scientific basis for this type of stuff.
Okay.
Well, we got to make that happen because, you know, one of my good brothers, he's involved, of course, with the Moorish Science Temple. And since I'm bringing that up, let me do this very quickly. All right, we're not stupid. All right, we're not talking about a crayon color. We're not talking about someone's legal status or nationality. We're not talking about skin color, hair texture, origin from a city, a state, a country, national, or planet. Okay? All right. So I had to put that out there for some of my brethren and sistren. But this particular brother, in one of our earlier shows, a show about shea butter, he talked about how melanin is made up. It doesn't exist. And I thought about it and I said, and his explanation was it's not on the periodic chart. And I tell you what, the next day I woke up and I grabbed a cup, and I don't do this too often, but I grabbed a cup of Kool-Aid and I said, Kool-Aid is not on the periodic chart. But when you put these certain things together, you develop Kool-Aid. And melanin, when you have these certain things together, you have what we consider melanin. So I definitely want to hear what your brother has to say about that. We might even bring my good Moorish brother on.
No, we should. We should bring it's him, and I got another brother that's in the I don't know if you want to call it ancient sciences as well, going back to the Commentans and so on. And I mean, you would have an interesting dialogue on melanin, the power of it, the power of our DNA in itself from the origins. It would be y'all would enjoy that. And then, those who are more like me, business minded and finance minded, then convert what they tell me into how we build systems and financial systems in order for us to empower ourselves. So it all, to me, weaves hand in hand, because once you have an understanding of the you can better be you, right, and do for the rest.
Right. Well, look, it's time for a change.
Yes, sir.
It's time for a change. So one of the questions that populated toward the end is P-Chain. And I think the name of your coin is P-Coin. P-Coin. Power Coin.
Yeah, Power Coin, but it's P-Coin, P-K-O-I-N. That's it right there, the symbol of it. Yeah, P-Coin.
Okay. He, Brother Williams further asked, do you have a YouTube page?
We do as well. I believe, is that link down there on the bottom when you scroll down?
Okay, let's see.
All the way down. I think it's all the way down.
Okay.
Did we just I gotta see if over there is there.
That's your Facebook page. So I don't see. Oh, here it is.
There it is. Yeah.
Okay. I'm paying enough money for all that stuff to be there. It better be there. That's why I said, don't embarrass me now. Don't embarrass me.
Right. So now what's interesting is Power Corp, POWERCORP, has the Power Coin, POWERKOIN. K-O-I-N. Tell me, dear brother, why you used a K for coin rather than a C.
So there are other power coins out there. So I just tried to choose. It was nothing significant. I just tried to use another spelling of P coin, K-O-I-N. So I just made sense. There's one other P coin out there, but it's not anything of substantial, threat or anything. People want to put their money there if they accidentally land there.
Okay.
But the key was not I can make a story up on it now if you want me to. I honor the combatants because what I'm trying to say is that your forefathers.
I like that. I like it. I love it. I want some more of it. So we got to have you back on the channel, dear brother Tim Webb. So, yeah, we got to have to back. And so thank you for watching one of our earlier shows. I know you've seen a couple of them and saying, I got to get on here. And I'm so glad.
Yes, sir.
So glad. So give us some last words, some parting knowledge, man. I'm a special ed teacher because, I probably was a special ed student. It takes a while for stuff to make sense for me, right?
Okay.
So I take the complex and I make it simple so I can digest it. And then later on, I add some layers to it. So basically, you said that we can create our own economy.
Yes.
We can create our own monetary products.
Yes.
And then we can use our monetary products and our own financing strategies to fix some of the problems and to delve into some of the opportunities that the world is providing.
And it's borderless.
Ooh.
This vehicle is unbelievable if we really get it. I mean, there are brothers trying to work with the African Union. They're trying to develop a coin with using the assets that they got from different tribal and kings. And, they still have those systems out there. So there are brothers that are working on that and sisters that are working. So there's a movement afoot to try and create these, like you just said, economic and monetary systems, your own barter system. Because it doesn't matter, brother, if I wanted to buy that mic and what you had right there, and I told you I had this watch that you found valuable, and we exchanged it, we exchange it. No one says I have to give you $1 bill. I just have to give you this is the thing. Understand this. We have the ability through digital computers and all that network to exchange value, whatever it is in the world. This is the first time we have an ability to do that without, faxing, without flying there, whatever. That literally this vehicle that allows us to exchange value wherever it is. That's what I saw. If you really want to know what I saw in this, was the ability to exchange value, because that's what you're doing. People think of currency only as money, but they're wrong. Your reputation is currency. I'll let you come into my event because of your reputation when I charge other people $1,000. Where's the currency? The currency was your reputation. People's minds are too limited. I keep telling them, as long as you keep letting what they dictate to us, like the US dollar and all this stuff, be your currency, then you're going to always be stuck in their system. Because that's what you followed. But you start seeing communities doing different things, trading among each other and whatever. They don't care about what's going on there because value is being exchanged. Who said value only can be exchanged by $1? And one last thing, brother, a good teacher of mine, martial art instructor, good teacher of mine. He used to do this thing where he says, I'm going to show you how you get control without me telling you to go do whatever I want you to do. He said, I got $20 in my pocket right now. Anybody who raised their right hand, the fastest one, I'll give you $20. And everybody raised their hand, right, and tried to get the $20. That's what they do to us. So now they just say, you know what, let me make a poor community over there and let me make a rich one. Everyone will sort themselves out based on the value that they give to whatever they want to give to. If I give value to booty shaking and half nakedness, that's what people do.
I know that's right.
Am I being real or not? I'm just, you told me to make it simple, brother. Make it plain. Y'all got to get this concept of value. There's other way to transact it. This is just one vehicle that is modern time that we should do while we can, because once they lock it up, they're going to lock us out. Once they regulate it, it's to lock you out. Why do businesses sometimes accept regulations? So they can create semi-monopolies for themselves.
Whoa.
Check.
That's how it works. Tim. They work with the government. Business and government work together. They get the government to fund to explore new areas. Renewable energy is an example. And then once the big companies figure it all out, they shut it all down and regulate it where a small guy can't do it anymore. They're going to do the same thing with cryptocurrency, which is why we have to build now. Not tomorrow, now.
Cartels.
We 10 over, brother. I'm going to let you go.
He came on and gave us some really good stuff. And then the last 5 minutes, you just blown. he just went. By the way, I wouldn't take your watch because I have my own.
I love you, brother. That's all right. But I don't have a mic. I would take your mic.
Now, I just want to say why I wouldn't take it, because I love my watch from Tally and Twine.
Oh, love
it. Really high quality watches.
Okay.
My wife, now I normally don't want any gifts for the winter holidays,
Yes, sir.
Christmas, Kwanzaa, I don't want a gift, right?
Okay.
But she insisted, and it was my birthday time, and she got me this beautiful watch from Tally and Twine. And every time I get a chance to highlight the brother, because I know the guy.
Okay.
Tally and Twine. It's a beautiful, high quality watch. It's timeless. It always looks attractive. And it's a beautiful company. Excellent. Beautiful watches.
Thanks for bringing that out to me, brother.
That's the only reason I wouldn't take your watch.
Birthday coming up. You ask me what I want. Tally and Twine. Make sure you text that to me. Tally and Twine. Send that to me. So the next time I'm on your show, I can do like this. Say, yeah, I got that one.
Hey, man. Brother Phillip says, thanks to all of you for your time and knowledge sharing. We're about to bring this to a close because we're going to have to sell what Tim knows.
It's all good. Hey, man, it's collaborative economy, shared economy. Let's do this, right? I can't take it to my grave, So
right.
Use it as you like, brother.
And I'm going to put up the link. For P Corps because I've had a couple of people asking for it already. PowerCorp.us.
Yes.
Okay.
And I guess the people who would go there to PowerCorp.us, they would know what to do. Because, personally, when I clicked on buy Pcoin and the Korean stuff popped up, it threw me for a loop.
I'm going to have a link to Stex, which is the English one. It's stx.com. That's another place you can go to buy it that's English-based. So that's a European exchange. It's Stex. But it just happened 2 days ago. It's trading at about $9 right now. But it's Stex, stex.com. They just haven't had time to update the website yet. But Stex.com is another place, another exchange that we're trading on as well. So I just want to let people know that if they don't feel comfortable with the Korean site, they can go to stx.com and, open up a wallet and buy there. And I'm going to do something I think very special. So if anyone goes and buys that learn this through this show, right? I'm going to basically, I don't know if the word is donate or whatever, but I'm going to send 10 coins to the show for every person that participates in buying my token. So all I need you to do is send me an email, showing that you bought and the reference, and then I would then get with Brother Sekou and transfer over those to his show because I really believe in what you do.
Oh, well, we believe in what you're doing, brother. And I think you just opened up some consciousness. I really think you opened up some consciousness. There were some things you said I hadn't figured out, hadn't thought about. And I was trying to wrap my brain around this cryptocurrency, blockchain piece. You know, why is it so powerful? And people are like, yo, man, this is the best thing in the world. You know, like, why?
Right.
It's because we can create our own currency. We can create our own financing structures, strategies, and we can finance our opportunities. That's blowing up. There's a sister who created the guap coin.
Okay.
You know, we talked about that last time, right, Minister?
Yeah.
The guap coin. So we got to get her on as well. You got it, bro. Tim Webb. So we want everyone to go to www.powercorp.us.
Yes.
Once you get there, we want you to, go there and buy some of that Power Coin. Buy it. You click the link here. He's going to put up another link that'll give us an English version, because this is Korean. But most of the people who are really heavy into this technology, they're comfortable with this.
Yeah, they know how to click it. You go on the right side, it'll flip it over to English for you. But I'll put it up there. But what I want them to do is, if they have your email or your contact, all they got to do is do a snapshot that they got my coin and send that to you. That's probably the best way. And then as you get more, you send it to me, and then we'll set up your wallet, and I'll transfer it over to you. So again, if you buy, just take a snapshot of your wallet that you have P-Coin in it, and send that to the brother. And I would then, once he does that, we'll run that. We're going to run that for about a month. I'll give you like a month.
That sounds great. The brother William said put the English version up. I'm not there yet, bro. But you know what? Let's see if we can make that happen. Okay, so I'm back here. I'm going to click here. I'm going to raise up the size so that, maybe, I'm going to raise the size up. So now where do I buy how do I get it to the English version? Is it this here? I'm asking you, Tim.
No, I'm getting some feedback.
Yeah. You know what? This might be a bad time to try it. we just lost Brother Tim. We were having some technical difficulties. You probably saw the glitches. You've been watching the Get On Code show, and man, I tell you, today we got on code, man. We really got on coding. We really got on coding for real. So hey, we want to thank everybody for tuning in. Share with everybody what you learned today. Let's go ahead and make this world more beautiful and beneficial than we inherited it. Ashe.
Stay fly, 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 stay fly.
The views expressed by the guests are only the views of the guests, unless we say we agree. Unless explicitly stated.
Stay fly, stay fly, stay fly, stay fly, stay fly,
stay fly. Stay conscious. Stay fly.